What are you afraid of? Have you ever had an anxiety episode or a panic attack? Imagine your world just shrinking. The streets outside, once familiar, now it all just feels like a maze of threats. An elevator ride becomes a battle of will, your heart pounding like a trapped little bird. Or maybe it's the thought of being without your phone. It can send a jolt of panic through you. This isn't just worry. This is a world of phobias where the mind turns those little ordinary situations into a big possibility of just anger and fear and dread. And then it turns those situations into a prison, is what it does. So come on, cousins, and let's pod about it. Oh, welcome to the funkiest show this side of the Pecos, baby. Who, me? I'm just your tour guide and your liaison for this journey that we call life. Terry Patrick here with Word to the Wise with the exclamation point. And we drop this podcast like to do this on every single Wednesday. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And before we get started, I always got to give it up for Pops and Fat Mama. Yes, Pops and Fat Mama. My mother had some phobias herself. Yes, she did. And she got to the point where she just got obsessed with the weather. She would watch. She wasn't going outside because she suffered from agoraphobia. And I'll break that down and what that means in a minute. There are a lot of phobias, and my mother had one, and she was just old school. I think a lot of Southern women, cousins, help me out, somebody. Tell the truth. They had these kind of like a phobia, but it was more than just a phobia. It was almost just superstition. When there was thunder and lightning outside, I mean, that is a phobia in of itself. There's people afraid of thunder and lightning. Some of them may have a traumatic incident that happened in their life. But no, these phobias and superstitions, and especially from Southern women, they were like, don't you turn on no light. Turn that light off. And I ain't cooking nothing. Ain't nothing on. No, that stove is not coming on. They turned the lights off inside the house and sat quietly when it's thunder and lightning. And I was like, Mama, doesn't that make you just listen to it better? Isn't it louder when you're not sitting there distracted watching a television or something? And she would call me when I was working for the railroad because, railroad, a lot of the stuff is outside. So I was working nights and I was working out there in the elements. It didn't matter. She's like, you really going to go to work today? I'm like, yeah, I got to make a living, Mama. She was like, what about all that rain? I'm like, well, on the way there, I'm just going to turn on the windshield wipers. And then I got my rain jacket and I'll be working outside with my rain slickers on. And that's all it took for me. But to her, it was an opportunity to say, nope, I'm not coming. I'm like, you're going to count up every day of rain and just miss work across the board? Ah, man, phobias and fear. Fear can grip you. It's an intense, irrational terror. And it's like could be a specific thing or just a situation that's out of proportion and make you think that it's actual danger. See, it's a fear that hijacks your life too. And it's more common than you think. In the United States of America, man, estimated about 19 million people have a phobia. Maybe some of those millions are watching and listening to this podcast right now. I would like for you to like and subscribe and share this message. And I would also like to ask for your support. If you would like to be able to support this program, I trust me, anything that folds is good. We also take a love offering that jingles. And for those of you who are on iHeartRadio and Apple Music and Amazon Music and listening to this podcast and audio only, you can find me over there at Zelle at tpatrick8844 at msn.com, or you can find me on Venmo, Word to the Wise Podcast. And if you like to give them Cash App, $ Cat Daddy in the mix. Yes, I'm all over the place. I'm out there, and I am here right now with something that, because I tell you, I got a phobia myself. Yes, and today we're going to be stepping into this. We're going to step into a world of intense fear. Do you have one? I'd love for you to drop it in the comments section. Do you have a fear? Do you have a phobia? Because I've come to the conclusion there's a couple ways I do not want to die, and that's fire and water. I can say these two things because I watch movies. I'm a movie buff. And sometimes when I'm watching a movie, I can just feel a palpitation in my heart. And your heart rate starts to just change the pace. One is when, when the people are under the water in the ice, and then they fell in a hole, but they can't find the hole. Holding their breath, and they can't get out. They can see air and can't get to it. That drives me nuts. I don't want to go like that. Water and fire. No. I think if your body is telling you something, it can manifest itself. It can grow. There are some ancient fears out there and some new ones too. First one I like to tell you about is a modern fear of being phoneless. Yes, we'll uncover the science-backed tools that can help you be able to reclaim your life and really take a look at what Scripture has to say about finding power, love, and a sound mind. See, it has what we call the modern tether, and it's called nomophobia. Yeah, let's start with that fear. And it's only existed for a short while, couldn't have existed a few decades ago. Nomophobia. It's short for no mobile phone phobia. It's the anxiety that people feel when they can't use their phone, or if it's a dead battery, a lost phone, or a spotty connection, makes your palms start to get sweaty. You might know this feeling. Well, you may not have an official disorder, but researchers have argued that maybe it should be a disorder, because we check those notifications, and sometimes you are constantly checking your phone whether it has a notification or not. The symptoms are both psychological and physical. Intense panic lead to rapid breathing, trembling, and a racing heart. The line between normal use and compulsion, man, it's a thin line, and you can cross it without even knowing it. It's that dependence. It causes a real life, real world problem, and it gives you poor sleep, maybe even dropping your performance at work. Social withdrawal. I'd rather you answer me on the phone. Don't talk to me in person. Don't like really having voice telephone calls. It's all social media and texting. But if you lose that phone, tell the truth. It's a feeling. Come on, cousins. Have you ever left your phone at home and turned around and went and got it? How many times do you just sit your phone down on a charger and let it sit there when you get home? Don't pick it up at all. Let it sit on the charger. Or if you've ever found yourself need a longer and longer charger cord, so you can walk around and do things while your phone is charging because you keep it on so much, it has always got a red battery. That's the thing. It's a strange irony, isn't it? The device that promised connection can end up making us feel more isolated. The fear isn't just about a missing call. It's about feeling disconnected or unable to get some help. It's a modern tether. And when you cut it, man, the sense of free fall can be terrifying. Yes, then those walls start closing in. And there's some people that phone without it, they will get crazy. Take someone's phone if you want to, cousin, and you'll see a different side of them. You'll see that manic person come out. You'll see that angry person come out. Give me my phone. I gotta have it. It is like an addict. I like to write, and I wrote a poem. I'm going to share it with you real quick. It's not very long. It's only like a stanza or two, so don't go clicking away. Oh, he said poetry. I'm out. I'm out. No, this is just something real short, and it's talking about how people who finally let loose, they feel like it's a free fall and they enjoy it. So it's called Falling Without Fear. Fall into the crevice and free fall into the nether abyss, sheer bliss, and claim the center of that crazy twist, silent lucidity, muted screams where decibels are decimated, vibrated, or orchestrated in that hollow cavern, dance in delirium, and delight in the freedom of the fearless. Do you fear this? Yes, there is danger in dreams, but safety for the diabolical to finally find slumber. It is the awakened that is most dangerous, the awakened without caution or regret for the conformity of us the same. See, the bland cannot understand. They cannot understand it. They cannot comprehend the unbridled passion of letting loose. It feels like falling. Impact is irrelevant. To embrace the inevitable impact is a righteous indignation, a mental vacation on a one-way ticket from this limited snicket life of the unfortunate events, to once and for all to have unmitigated gall and to smile that devilish grin and enjoy the envy of the fall. Some people, when they let go and let loose, they turn into a different person. And some, we can let our mind play tricks on us, like Ghetto Boy said, right? And so, yeah, let's get personal with it. You want to get down to the nitty gritty? I want to talk about mine. Mine is called claustrophobia. Yeah, I got a fear of tight, closed spaces. It's the opposite of what my mother had, agoraphobia. Agoraphobia, you have a fear of big crowds. Yeah, she don't want to be any place where it's packed full of people. You know, if it's in like a wide open space, my mother could cope. Yes, if like a get together, a cookout or something at a park, like a big family reunion where everybody has their own little space, she can deal with it. But being inside like a concert where people just rubbing all up on you and you can't go forward and you can't go back and you just trapped in this crowd. Ooh, my mother wouldn't be able to do it. Mine is those tight little closed spaces where I feel that the air and the oxygen is just leaving my head. I get dizzy headed. I had my first incident when I was at a water park in California. And this water park at the time, there was a drought in California, so they were conserving water. And I get my big butt inside of a water slide, you know, a tube, and I get about not even halfway, and I get stuck. And I'm like yelling up, hey, turn up the water, man. You don't have enough water to push me down. And the guy, the kid, about 16, maybe 17 years old, summer job, you know, he's like, I don't know how to do that. He's like, I don't know how to turn the water up at the water park. I know how to tell people, you're next, go. And I was like, I can't get out. And he yelled and said, I'm going to slide down and I'm going to kick you in the shoulders and knock you down to the end. And I couldn't wait for that. So I started pedaling and putting my hand up on the ceiling and scooting myself down this water slide. And it got some twists and turns. And the whole time that tunnel started doing this. Woo, woo. Ooh, it starts shrinking and swelling. My mind, my eyes saw that. And I thought it was just a one-time thing. But when I finally reached the little wading pool at the bottom, boy, I was feeling like a different person. It was so terrifying to me, but I shrugged it off. I'm like, it's a one-time thing, whatever. Until it happened again and on an MIR machine. Yes, I'll give you a thumbs up or a like if you've ever been in an MRI machine and it was kind of uncomfortable. You know, your face is right next to that wall and it's boom, 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 boom. It's got this loud noise and you have to sit there in this enclosed space and your shoulders are like almost barely touching the walls and you just feel closed in. I'm like, get me out of here. I can't do it. MIR machine. Do you have a fear of those machines yourself? Love to hear from you. And the third and final time where I had to really, really admit that I got claustrophobia was on an airplane. See, I'm 6'4", and I don't like the aisle seat, but it's the seat that I chose. I said, okay, I got in there, and the person who was next to me in the middle seat was bigger than me. So he taking up a lot of space. I got the window right here. I got the luggage rack on top of my head right here. This big dude, the chair is right in front of you. You got no leg room. I said, let me off the plane. I will not fly if I got to sit in that seat. And the steward was like, wait a minute. Let me see what I can do. Just stand back here by the restroom. And I did. And she came up to said, somebody who would love to have the window seat. Do you think you could sit in the aisle? And I tried it. Opened up the whole plane for me. Now I fly all the time. But I repeat, it's Mando that I have an aisle seat. So that claustrophobia, it's an ancient fear. You know that? It's that it's intense. It's an irrational fear of just enclosed spaces. And for someone with claustrophobia, elevators, tunnels, windowless rooms, even cars. I can't sit in the back seat of a two-door. It can be a source of extreme anxiety. And the heart of claustrophobia isn't just a dislike of small places. It's a terrifying fear of what is going to happen. You feel like you're running out of air. And you can't, this can trigger you a full-blown panic attack. It's like creating that overwhelming urge to escape. And the key figures of this is avoiding all those triggers. Sometimes take the stairs, no matter how many floors. I personally am okay with elevators, but I don't know how I would react. It would probably be worse than others if that elevator ever broke down. My big brother, Black Jack don't like elevators. He don't like flying either. So that's his life, Jack. He'd rather take the stairs. And while this is going to bring you some little bit of short-term relief, it makes the fear stronger in the long run. Think about it. Because the exact cause isn't fully understood, but it's likely just a mix of genetics or traumatic past events like getting stuck in a water park or just being trapped. And it's even a learned response from watching fearful parents. The mind will force you and to have this powerful link between confined spaces and the feeling of danger. They become one and the same. And you get that fear of no escape, like what my mother had, agoraphobia. It's a complex, and sometimes it's misunderstood anxiety disorder. See, the name comes from the Greek, the fear of the marketplace. But it's truly a fear of just being in situations where escape may be hard or help may be unavailable if panic strikes. A person with agoraphobia, they fear feeling trapped, helpless, embarrassed. The fear can often just resolve around a panic attack and lead to you avoiding a range of situations. Like a diagnosis involves intense fear for about two of the following: either public transport or being in those enclosed spaces or standing in a line or being in a crowd or even just being outside alone. And in severe cases, someone with agoraphobia may become housebound, like my mom. And the condition also develops like a person has one or more of these panic attacks. The fear starts to accumulate. In any situation, you can just see, they dread just being in there if you start talking about it. Let's go to a concert, Mom. Ooh, you can see the look on her face just thinking about being in that situation. It's uncomfortable. And yes, she did wind up housebound, and she was obsessed with the weather, even though she wasn't going to go out there and be in the elements. But when you are feeling that way, the world, it gets smaller and smaller until you just live in a microscopic little place, as such as the house. People who have severe agoraphobia, they won't even go outside to that mailbox. Is it real? Are the threats real? If you believe it in your head, you tell me, cousin. And before we move on, if this is hitting home for you, or if you know somebody who suffers from these, please consider just sharing this video. Because the more that we can understand these conditions, the more we can break that stigma. And if you're finding this to be valuable, subscribing to the channel, it helps us keep making content just like this. So I would love for you to be able to like, share, and subscribe. But I want you to reclaim your life. The good news is that phobias are highly treatable. The most effective treatments are types of like psychotherapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. And there's some exposure therapy. Fight what you are afraid of. See, CBT helps you identify, challenge, and change the negative thought patterns, stuff that fuels your phobia. A therapist is going to help you examine the evidence for your fearful thoughts, showing you the connection between your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. When you connect those three, you have power. It gives you a sense of control over your fear. And a key part of CBT for phobias is exposure therapy. This is something that's gradual, it's in controlled process for you to confront your fears in a safe environment. It works like breaking the cycle of avoidance. Your therapist will help you create a fear ladder, ranking your fears in situations from the least to the most scary. And if you have a fear of flying, the bottom rung may look like a picture of a plane, or watching a video of a flight, and then eventually taking a real short flight, a little 30-minute flight. And each step, your brain learns the terrible things that you expected, it never happened. So that link between the trigger and the panic, it gets weaker. And alongside therapy and practical coping, it's a game changer. Grounding techniques help you focus out your anxious thoughts. A great one is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's so simple. 5 things I can see, 4 things I can feel, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. And then some controlled breathing, box breathing. That's a simple technique. Breathe in, count for 4. Hold it for 4, exhale for 4, and then wait until you do it again for another 4 seconds. So repeating that, it regulates your heart rate, brings a sense of calm. Most importantly, seeking help is a sign of strength, because therapy is usually the first line of treatment. Though sometimes it's some medication that can go along with it. Hey, but word to the wise, we always like to talk about things from a place of faith. So struggling with a phobia, it can feel complicated. Learning and leading with shame, but if we put a biblical balance to a perspective, shows that faith and sound psychological can be some powerful partners of healing. The Bible is honest about fear, isn't it, cousins? But it is a consistent message that fear doesn't get the last word. No. One of the most powerful verses is 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power and a love of a sound mind. You see, the spirit of fear, here is that paralyzing cowardice. It is a paralyzing cowardice. It is a spirit of power to act in spite of fear. A spirit of love that shifts our focus to God and to others. And it's a spirit of a sound mind which speaks to a stable and anchored in truth, not chaos. The message echoes throughout the scripture. Isaiah 41:10 promises God presence and help. So do not fear, for I am with you. The command do not fear isn't based on the absence of fear, but the presence of them and a God who is bigger than them. And just like in John 4:18, it says perfect love drives out fear, because God's love secures us. Is embracing these truths. It doesn't mean rejecting psychological help. They go together. Faith and therapy can work powerfully together. You can pray for courage on your way to a therapy appointment. You can remind yourself that God gives you a sound mind as you're practicing those breathing exercises. Your therapist has taught you things, and God can teach you even more. So a therapist can give you tools that you can use so you can challenge those thoughts, and faith can give you the ultimate truth to anchor those thoughts. Now I want to hear from you. I want you to say something in the comments. Share one thing, one practical tool, or even just a piece of advice or wisdom that has helped you face down fear in your own life. Your experience can be the very thing that somebody else needs to read today, okay? So the journey from that grip of a phobia to a life of freedom, it is not a quick fix, but it is absolutely powerful. Whether it's nomophobia, fear of losing your phone, claustrophobia, fear of small places, agoraphobia. There are people who fear spiders and snakes. There are people who fear being in cars. There are people who fear walking down a long road at night. These are all different phobias that I said. It's over 19 million people that suffers from something. Do you have one, cousin? And if you do, man, it's not a life sentence. No, it's not. Scientifically, you got tools like CBT and exposure therapy that can rewire your brain's fear response. There are practical techniques, grounded, controlled breathing, can anchor you in the presence. And for the people of faith, God's word doesn't dismiss our fear, but it meets us right there in it, offering a spirit of power, love, and sound mind. The most important step is always the first one, acknowledging the struggle and reaching out for some help. Don't you sit there and suffer alone. Whether that help comes from a therapist, a doctor, a pastor, or a friend, you don't have to walk this path by yourself. The walls can stop closing in on you. The world can open up and back up to you, and you can learn to live not in the shadow of what you fear, but in the light of the strength that you have to overcome. I really appreciate you guys. You know what? I want to thank you guys for being able to watch this program. And like I always say here at Word to the Wise, we're doing this for a reason. And yes, here in episode 74, season 3, we have to face our fears and our phobias, okay?
I hope you like the podcast, and you really like the podcast.
Come on, be serious.
And you still like my podcast. Like and subscribe.
All right, y'all, that's my time. Love, peace, and hot catfish grease. And just know it's a jungle out there. There's always something that is plaguing us. But I got your back like vertebrae. Peace.